So, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, and good night. It's April 18th in the great Shire town of Woodstock, New Brunswick. Another Secrets of the Damned update, and we want to remind everybody how grateful we are at the support of the books in the series. Again, we're on Amazon, Kindle, Audible. Please leave a like. Please give us a review if you have taken advantage of buying the book or audiobook. Again, a big shout out to our audiobook actress, Nora Aga, in the Fort Nation battle to protect teachers everywhere, not only just Ontario. So, Nora, we're very proud of you. Keep up the good work. Now, we did the first of this two-part podcast talking about the Cork Cemetery and the influences on the series. Today, we're going to be looking at the Broadway Cemetery in Woodstock, the Art Slip House, and another location in Woodstock that have influenced the Secrets of the Damned series. We're here today with Secrets of the Damned author Jim A. Shaw. Jim, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody.
And flooding is coming, so what a great thing to stay in the house, watch the waters rise, and read Secrets of the Damned. Because the flood areas are going to be damned the next few days. Hopefully, it will be dams for the fans of the damned, so to stop the water from rising. Little pun there, very bad pun anyway. So today we're talking about the Broadway Cemetery in Woodstock, the Art Slip House at the top of the hill of the cemetery. Mayor of Woodstock, good friend of ours, and Jim, talk about the influence of the Broadway Cemetery, the Slip House, and the other dwelling in Woodstock on the series, especially Forbidden Dreams.
Well, now with the graveyard, for instance, when I was younger, a whole bunch of us, hellions and hooligans, we used to go to the graveyard thinking we could find ghosts and all kinds of crazy things. So it's kind of been in my imagination for a long time. And when you learn things about the graveyard, like the Lydia Rosterson tomb, or not a tomb I should say, but her headstone with the pentagram on it, and you hear the legend of her being a witch and all that jazz about her passing, untimely passing, I think that it was bound to bubble up somewhere. And then the convenience of that was right up from the graveyard. There's a driveway that snakes up through the trees and goes up to the Slip House. Our mayor, Arthur Slip, who was my teacher when I was in high school, communications teacher, great guy, that just gave me more fuel for thought. And I always liked the location of that house. And then there was another house over on St. James, on the corner of St. James and Grover, where there's a house that has, from the road, looks like a skull, but it's really not, it's a face. It's a mask for good luck. But of course, when you don't know it's a mask for good luck and it looks like a skull from the road, it gets your mind thinking. So I combined those two houses to make the Vandenberg house.
Now, we did a photo tour of the location in the late fall, November, and those photos are what you're seeing now. And my connection with Broadway Cemetery goes way back as well. When Jim and I became friends, I did a essay on the kind of the amount of damage to the Broadway Cemetery because of the Rotarian and Jewish and other immigrant graves that were desecrated. And I learned a little bit about the history of the Broadway. It's a very spooky location, but it's very, introspective. You take a walk there and it's very beautiful. There's some nice history about the people of Woodstock, nice pillars. Actually, one of them is featured in our first book of the series, The Kirk. A great photo by Jim, like the nice tilting pillar. Now, Jim, for you as a longtime Woodstock native, I mean, your parents and your rest of the relatives held the location in great regard. When you walk through it now, what thoughts come to your mind? Like in the tour we made in November, what were the thoughts that came to your mind?
Well, my thoughts go to the part of the graveyard we didn't go to. My grandparents were buried on the terraces that go down towards the river. I believe there's two terraces, but there's one for sure. And they had to be moved. All the graves along there had to be moved because over the years, I think the graves were moved in the late 80s, early 90s, some of them.
We did something like that about the cemetery rebuilding. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, they were sliding down the hill, erosion. So I imagine a lot of those fine folks that were buried there ended up being dog toys, chew toys for dogs. So I know with my grandparents, they found very little of them, but they were moved to the cemetery over on Holton Road. So my thoughts go there because in one of the scenes of the Kirk, there's a grave. It's not really a grave robbing. He's an old guy. I'm not going to tell you any details. Read the book. But he happens to be in there digging up a grave in the middle of the night. Of course, that's the best time to dig up a grave, isn't it? So anyway, that my thoughts go there because, well, I just when I look at the graveyard, I see the different things that I wrote about.
Because every hometown graveyard has an impact. Like in our family in Northern New Brunswick, St. Gabriel's and St. Joseph, St. Gabriel's and Jugger's, St. Joseph, Nash Creek, because of the veterans, because of the immigrants through the years, there's a lot of history. Now, Jim, I know in recent days, Jim probably, we're still finding out more information, but he found an Aboriginal burial ground within a couple of kilometers of the Broadway Cemetery. I guess in Grafton, there's an Aboriginal graveyard camp that's being looked at, that's being recovered. Now, if you want to take a walk, that's by the Grafton Stretch. They're doing some work with the town of Woodstock. You found an Aboriginal, I'd say monuments, but that needs to be recovered, either headstones or burial grounds. And there was in the front of the Bugle Observer this week.
Oh, that's cool. I ought to read that paper once in a while.
Yeah, no, because they're very good to us to put an article in, so give them a plug.
Oh, I did read it that time, yeah.
Yeah, of course, you got to read your own press, especially if you're working by yourself. Now, what we want to encourage people to, and we have that fundraiser for the Kirk coming up to Northampton Church.
Yes, go. We need to build that tower back.
Yeah,
or that,
because
whatever it is,
we would have to
steeple?
Steeple. We have to rebuild a steeple for the movie if it ever comes about. So they're going to save us a little bit of the production costs if people donate. If people really want to support the Northampton Church, that location, bigger donations are going to be accepted by the organizers. And people still care about the Kirk like you care about the Broadway Cemetery, because they have friends and family of there and the legends and
there's
history.
Still people being buried there today. Well, not today specifically.
Not as much as before.
But in the modern times, there's still graves and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Go down there and find them.
Yeah, but it's compared to what it was in the 1980s. There's some graves have disappeared, like Jim is saying. Sliding down the bank is unfortunately.
Oh, you mean over here on Broadway?
Yeah.
Not the Kirk one.
No, the Kirk is a whole bunch of new graves because it's a very big location. Broadway, there's parts of it where when we did the research project, there must have been some graves, but the headstones were disappeared. And like Jimmy said, some of them had slid down the bank. But if this is great, if you really want to do something for yourself or us, put on the audiobook, especially when Forbidden Dreams come on, and now the Kirk is an audiobook. Put the headphones on and just walk through and just soak in not only Jim's impact and the impact of historical aspect of Broadway and the Kirk and the houses that we're saying, and maybe take some pictures like we did. And if you like that type of Gothic style, but I mean, audiobooks are like that. If you're on a bus and you like reading about or listening about history, what better way to kill the time in a subway or whatever. So if you're in a big city, a small town, whatever, if you're traveling to work, if you're on the subway, Boston, Stephen King Country in Bangor, whatever, put on the audiobooks of the Kirk and the Forbidden Dreams, or maybe read it on your days off and just soak in the importance of these, I guess we'd call historical hometown cemeteries that influence different things, and influence history, there's people out there that love just headstones. There's headstone aficionados. You look at the veterans' headstones of the 1914, 1918, and 39 and 45 for Canada. They're beautiful headstones. They're just a mark of history. So Jim, as we wrap up, I know there's a couple of points you still want to go over. Talk about the importance of the review process. I talked to that at first, but talk about that a little bit again.
Review as in what? Like
people giving reviews on the book and posting them on.
Oh, yes, those. It's like this. Now, let's look at it this way. If you're a man, right, and you want to have women interested in you, hang around women. Because women are like the general public. If they see that someone's already accepted or get the stamp of approval, they're more apt to be interested. Same as the books. If they see, there's a lot of reviews on like Amazon, and I'm not sure about Kindle, but we need reviews for for the audiobook.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of you folks that have the audiobook. There's a lot of you folks that were given the audiobook. And, you know, let's face it, the audiobook could be free if you just want to join
Audible and get the free,
Audible.
the free.
And
free
it's
trial,
really
yeah.
important that you, you know, say how awesome the book is or how much you thought the book sucked. I don't care. Just a review is an awesome thing. Plus, it also ranks the book. The book needs to be ranked a little better.
Yeah, and there was a media member that took a freak on us because your book is ranked such and such. I think.
Well, he got the rankings wrong because it wasn't ranked as low as he thought.
Well, he just was looking at excuse not to do the article, and that's a shout out to him. If you didn't want to do the article, just say no, and not come up with a crazy, whiny journalist attitude that I get sometimes. I should know I'm a whiny journalist. I know my own, because I like to cover everything, but I can't anymore because I'm semi-retired. That's near the point. What it does, it gives encouragement to our voice actress Noraga because she's putting a lot of work.
Yes, she is.
A lot
She's
of
putting
time.
An awful lot of work.
Her husband is helping with the editing. Throw some love to her because she's a not say a new Canadian, but she accepted Canada as her country. She's a part of a great collective of people in Ontario, friends, family that work with. They're very, very supportive of her. We were very supportive of her as well. But she's a young actress, and young voice actresses coming up need that encouragement to say, listen, I'm going to go on to my next project. Not everybody knows how much a voice actress has to prepare themselves to put in the right mindset. Like when Jim first listened to some of the chapters of The Kirk, she made the characters come alive. It's okay for pen to paper, like Jim had said previously, but allowing a voice actress to get it out there. And talk about Forbidden Dreams, we're looking at Canada Day week, you said, part 2 of the audiobook?
Okay.
July.
Yeah, July 1st, I think, is when it's going to be out for you guys. I want to give you an important news item for the Secrets of the Dam series. The Secrets of the Dam series is going to be suspended at 2 books for a while. I'm not going to finish Dark Angels because all of a sudden I've started writing the other book that I had been working on, which is entitled The Gugway. And so my mind is actually racing in that direction. But that's okay. That's par for the course. And when you finally get Dark Angels, you guys might like it a little bit better. Before this podcast ends, I'm giving a shout out because I got to be totally honest that I've been talking to Pamela Thompson on Facebook while we've been doing this podcast because the Secrets of the Dam group makes me available to you guys to be able to chat with me. And she's been a fan since the novels came out. Oh my God, almost I think a decade or better ago. Oh God, yeah.
2006.
So she's liked him for that long, and well, I've liked Pam for all my life. So
Nice lady, Pam.
awesome. Anyway, that's my shout out to Pam Thompson. She's really cool.
And I want to give a shout out again to the people who have supported the book. Again, our podcast channel on my channel, JJ Governor Courier. We passed 21,000 page views. We're up to 22,000. My different podcasts are going on. I sent a lot of the podcasts out on Facebook Messenger, but for the people who haven't subscribed, please do so. A like, a comment. I'm finding we're getting people from Alberta, from BC, from Maine, from Florida, different places from England have checked out the podcast for Secrets of Dam. We appreciate it. There's around 25 podcasts on Secrets of the Damned on the Secret of the Dam podcast site. Some are longer than others. We talk about Jocelyn Turner, who was a typesetter for Jim. We talk to different fans who like the book, talking about the characters in the Kirk, Jack Stevens especially. Talk about the whole process. Talk about the media blitz we did. We're going to be starting with Clark. Sorry, my apologies. I'm getting my journalists.
Did we get somebody else and I wasn't aware?
No, it's not that. The two Jocelyn Clark and Jocelyn Turner, the lady at the Bugle, and you're a great typesetter. Sorry, I think all Jocelyns are talented. My apologies.
They are probably.
That's what I'm saying. I've never met a Jocelyn that wasn't a good journalist or typesetter. But
I haven't met anybody who's not talented at something.
Well, that's true. That's true. Even a schizophrenic is talented 2 different ways.
Well, they got great imagination.
That's what I'm saying.
You have to look at it that way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They can build characters like nobody's business.
Well, like I said, the best writers sometimes are schizophrenic when you need to be, because they have voices in their head that tell them to write this down, because if you don't write it down, it doesn't happen. Like a Twilight Zone episode when the person writes something down and it becomes the life or pain.
We should do a podcast on the Gugway.
I think we should. See, this is what's great about podcasts.
I'm trying to just let that slip out today.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. See, the thing is, we want you coming back to our podcast. And the idea is, our podcast channel, someone asked me today, said, I was applying for a new job over in Holton area. He said, "You take any money for a podcast?" I said, "If I did, I would feel bad." Here's how it works. Our podcast is free. There's nobody going to buy ads for our podcast channel that's against or for what you're for. No right wing, no left wing, no whatever, no commercial endorsements.
Our birds don't fly because they don't have wings.
Like I said, I'm the only situation that allowed me to start my podcast. I found as a way to not allow commercial on my podcast. This is the problem. When someone podcasts, even a wrestling podcast, these right-wing and left-wing groups, which I don't support either one of them. I'm through the middle. I'm in the middle. I don't want them for you to watch 30-second ad before you listen to your podcast. You're taking time to watch us. You're not taking time to watch a Swiffer WestJet. That's a plug. Or
product placement. They gotta wait for the movie.
But Swiffer's good, by the way. I recommend Swiffer WestJet because you've had cat pee in your kitchen. It's the best thing to clean it up. I know from personal experience. But I mean, if Swiffer wants to be in our movie, product placement, you're welcome. Then, but right now, again, we need cash. We are going to go into pilot stage, and we're like $200,000 away from making the pilot work. It's going to be filmed in New Brunswick. We're working on a script as we speak. But as we wrap up, Jim, you want to say a couple of things extra?
Well, I'm thinking we're still going to do the fundraiser, the Kickstarter,
yes.
Whatever the heck you want to call it.
Yeah.
So
the Veronica Mars stuff.
So look for that.
Yeah.
But we're just trying to figure out how to streamline it and make it worth your while to give money. Because you're not going to give it for free. You can't.
But I mean, if somebody out there wants to be a sugar daddy and produce a New Brunswick-based author's book,
hey, I'm a man. I need a sugar mama.
And you understand, sugar mama, sugar daddy, whatever. But you gotta understand, we gotta bring back the New Brunswick film tax credit to the level it was before. I don't think with the Higgs or if the Vickers government ever wins, it's going to be coming back. I think Nova Scotia or BC or Alberta is the place to be, because I don't think Netflix is going to set up a production company through a Pinewood style in New Brunswick. But can you imagine we're in BC, ladies and gentlemen? We wouldn't have the influence of Broadway and Kirk for the book. We might not have a book, but we can film it in BC. We can film it in Alberta, Ontario. We need a producer and money and the old good thing. Now, before I leave everybody go, just remember that fundraiser for the Kirk Cemetery. The good people at United Church in Woodstock are going to be working pretty hard to prepare this. St. James, United St. James.
Yeah, support that.
Support
please,
them.
Guys.
They have great cooks over there. I got some former co-workers that are affiliated with the church. A nice group of people. They have done so much outreach work over the years. This is not a surprise to me. They're helping out a church that's about 30 miles away, 25 miles away, give or take.
Yeah, it's about 20.
Because you got to pass the Grafton Bridge and cross over. You can cross over Naquick to get there. But
it's just past Jolly Farmers.
Just past Jolly Farmers.
Kirk Cemetery Road.
Yeah, but listen to our previous podcast into Kirk. Take a walk down there and see the beauty of that location, the solitude.
Or call me and I'll go down with you and give you a guided tour.
Listen, if you want to come down for a volunteer tour, we'll show you down there, because it's word of mouth. If you can tell 5 people the importance of the Kirk, wouldn't that be great to have the movie? We saved the Kirk, rebuild the tower, do renovations on Broadway Cemetery, and I think the Broadway Cemetery too, the ones that put it together, they take donations as well.
No, everyone takes donations.
Everyone takes donations.
I don't know anyone who doesn't turn down free money.
Well, free money, but in a good place. And don't forget, it's still tax season, and GST is in July, so if you have some extra tax money. But my God, what an historical thing we're doing, because we're not only making history with Jim's book, we're doing press. We're in a media kind of rebirth in the whole region, because CBC, CTV, different locations are doing more coverage of Woodstock. At the River Valley Sun, the Pioneer Times merge under the Bangor Daily News banner. There's a lot more media, and our friends at WAGM, we're going to try to convince them to come down in the spring to do that tour we're talking about. See, this is kind of a virtual tour, but without the virtuality, as we say. So on this beautiful Wednesday, 18th of April, where everybody's involved in the hockey playoffs, we give a shout out to all the fans. And Jim, any last thoughts?
I'm sorry. I just want to say sorry to all you Maple Leaf fans, because I think Boston finally woke up and realized that they weren't playing Montreal and they didn't have to lose the series after all.
Well, it's like this. It's like this. We would go out live, and you know our live, because how could we fake our disdain for the NHL playoff system? Because Montreal should have been in there, and anyway, half the teams in the West maybe shouldn't have made the playoffs, but that's another story again. So on this fine day, we wish you well and a happy Easter weekend, and may May we say, if you can find some chocolate eggs in the snowbank,
Don't eat them.
don't eat them.
Because they might have been left by real
Might be
bunnies.
left by real bunnies. He ruined my joke. Anyway. I knew he was going to do that. Have a good one. Bye.